Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, DC Rebirth, Supergirl. Not only that, but this is the Platinum Chase variant. This one has a darker paint scheme and is similar to CW's Supergirl. I want to give a huge shout out to my boy Nicholas from Instagram for sending this to me. Much appreciated. I'm looking for all the platinums, so anyone who can look out for me, it's a big help. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys. This is part of the Gold Label collection. A Gold Label figure is simply a retailer exclusive, whether it be Walmart or GameStop. This particular Gold Label is a Target exclusive in America, ages 12 plus. McFarlane Platinum Collection. Now, this is, I think, the first figure that is both a Gold Label and a Platinum. I can't think of any to my knowledge. DC Multiverse, Supergirl. Here she is in the package. She has a display stand, a flight stand, and a collector's card. One side of the package, Supergirl from DC's Rebirth. Other side, Supergirl. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there's her barcode if that helps anybody. And on the back side, here's Supergirl from the comics. So with no further ado, let's open her up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here she is with all of her accessories laid out. She doesn't come with any traditional accessories, but she has a display stand, a flight stand, and a collector's card. But before we take a look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Supergirl from the DC Rebirth comics. Her real name is Kara Zor-El, but this one is the Platinum Chase variant, and it's done in a darker paint scheme. The blue and the red is darker, and it looks kind of like the CW TV show. So let's take a look. Starting with her face here. Now her face, it does look pretty good. I think the blonde hair looks very nice. Face sculpt, it's good. Not great, but it is pretty good. Superman logo looks good. The dark blue, I like it. Cloth soft goods cape, and it's not like super wide, but it is very long. Goes almost down to her ankles, which is pretty nice. She got the skirt. Then the boots. And I know everyone's mad about the boots. They're lazy. They use the Nightfall Catwoman body, and the boots go about up to here. Her boots really should go maybe about up to here. Typically, they're done in sort of a point at the top. Her knees also don't look very good, and then she's got the giant balls in the ankles. So a lot of problems with legs, but beyond that, it is a pretty good, normal, traditional, modern Supergirl, and I appreciate that. Adding another regular sort of B or C-lister Justice League hero to the mix. And a closer look at her face and head sculpt, it looks pretty good, and I'd say the paint job is a little bit better on this one than my original. Now let's check out her accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. She has the typical McFarlane display stand. It's a black perfect circle. It's very thin, very basic. Then we have her flight stand. It comes in two separate pieces. When put together, it's going to look like this. We have the circular base. It says DC on it. It's got one peg with the peg holes on her feet. And it's got this post that goes to the top. The top can rotate very tight. It's also hinged, and it has a clamp to hold your figure. Here's an example of the flight stand holding up Supergirl. Now for a collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Supergirl from the Rebirth comics, Supergirl from DC's Rebirth. On the backside, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. Now I want to check out the differences between the Platinum Chase Supergirl and the regular version. Besides the obvious paint differences, they're 100% the same figure, same sculpt, same articulation. So let's take a quick look. Now, not only is the blue darker on the entire figure, and the red darker, but the hair is a little bit different. The hair is actually kind of lighter than this one. And then, of course, the cloth soft goods cape is a different shade. They're both very cool. This is more sort of a classic colored Supergirl, and maybe more of a modern version. They're both pretty nice in the collection. Now I wanted to check out and complain about the reuse from the Nightfall Catwoman. So, the first bit of complaint is going to be the arms. They use the same arms. And you see Catwoman has this glove that goes up to her bicep. And now Supergirl has this sculpted line up here, which makes no sense, grossly inaccurate, and lazy. She doesn't have a glove on. She should have a solid sleeve. This sculpted line here, even though it is not that noticeable, but once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Now the torso, if you look really close to the stomach, Catwoman has this sort of line going up and down. Supergirl has it on the bottom part of her stomach, not the top part. And then we have the legs. Now, the ankles, I don't know, they don't look as big on Catwoman. Feet are definitely different. The legs themselves, I believe, are the same, at least from here up. You can see Catwoman has this boot cut up here. Supergirl also has that same boot cut up there. And it's a little bit way taller than it should be on Supergirl. So if you have the skirt down, it kind of looks like she has total spandex leggings or something going on. I believe in the comics, her boot should be about up to here in sort of a pointing shape. In addition to that, it just looks kind of weird underneath there. But none of that really bothers me, as you won't see that unless you pull the skirt, you pervert. But the more I handle her, the knees don't look good, the boot thing isn't accurate, and the little balls on her ankles are way too big. Lazy reuse, and the sad thing is, there are probably better parts they could have chose from. I can't actually think of anyone that has a boot cut lower like that, but I don't know, maybe make something new. They also used the Nightfall Catwoman body for Batwoman, thus giving us 5 different uses of the Nightfall Catwoman, 3 different characters. Now, Batwoman, it actually annoyed me even more than Supergirl, because in Batwoman, you have these red boots, and then you have a sculpted line there that looks like a thigh cut, but no, that's just lazy reuse from Catwoman. So it looks like she has boots on top of taller boots on top of spandex. And she has the same issue with her bicep, although that one is just much less noticeable. The legs really bother me on both Batwoman and Supergirl. Now they're taking a pretty good look at both the figure and her lack of accessories. Now let's check out her height. From bottom to the top of her head, standing at about 6.8 inches tall, which could translate to just over 17 centimeters. Now for articulation. Starting with her head. Now of course, it can rotate from side to side. You can get the hair completely over the shoulders if you really want to. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes up about 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. She does have a butterfly joint between her shoulder and chest, increase the range of motion and cover the gap. Bicep cut there. Now you can also see where the old Catwoman sculpted glove is up here. It's annoying. It does hide the bicep cut, but it shouldn't be there. Looks every bit as ridiculous as the legs. Elbows go in all the way. Wrists can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. Her torso, she's got a ball joint, can rotate around, although not much. Forward and back, also not much. She's got another one in her waist, rotate around all the way. Forward and back a little more. Between the two, decent range of motion. You can see some of the gold paint is rubbed off her belt onto her side here. Legs, they only go out this far, obstructed by the skirt. Go forward, really not much either. Back, not much. Double jointed knees, ankles, forward and back, rotate, tilt, rock, and toe articulation, although that one seems to be stuck. Here's a look at Supergirl hovering above the skies of Metropolis, and here she is in a flight pose above the. And here's a look at both Supergirls hovering over the skies of Metropolis. Now let's check her out next to some of their action figures, starting off with some of their Supergirl figures. Here she is, next to the standard version of the McFarlane DC Multiverse Rebirth Supergirl. And here she is, next to the Injustice 2 Supergirl. Then, with the Flash movie Supergirl. Here are all of the McFarlane DC Multiverse Supergirl figures they've made so far. I'm not aware of any more coming in the near future. Here she is, next to my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Supergirl figures. Then, next to my Mattel Supergirl figures. Here are all the different CW-influenced Supergirl figures, DC Direct, McFarlane, and Mattel. Here are all of the different 6 and 7 inch scale Supergirl figures that I have. Now let's check her out, next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here are all 4 of McFarlane's Supergirls. And now let's check her out, next to some other McFarlane Platinum Chase variants. Here she is next to the 2 first McFarlane DC Multiverse Platinum Chase variants. The bronze Arkham Asylum Batman and Joker. After that, they released the gold versions of the Arkham Knight Batman and the Arkham Origins Deathstroke. Next, they released a lighter blue version of Dr. Fate from Injustice 2. This is closer to the comics. And then a Gorilla Grodd from Injustice 2 in silver armor. And I got 3 of these Gorilla Grodds in silver armor. I used these as soldiers in Gorilla Grodd's army, then the gold Gorilla Grodd as Grodd himself. And after that, they released a God Was Up Batfleck from Zack Snyder's Justice League. To my knowledge, this is the only Platinum Chase variant with any sculpting differences, the goggles being up. After that, they went a completely different direction with the Platinum Chase variants. They went with some unpainted artist-proof figures, and personally, I was not really a fan. I collect all these things because I'm a completist, but I didn't really have any love for these things. A lot of people were complaining they were getting the unpainted figures by randomly from Amazon or GameStop or Walmart, etc. And a lot of people don't want them. You see a green, beautifully painted Swamp Thing figure on Amazon, you buy it, then you get this, you're kind of like, what the fuck? So, McFarlane heard all the complaints, and then went a different direction. After all the complaints, McFarlane totally changed the direction of the Platinum Chase variants. After that, they made a Superpowers Mr. Freeze, a Nightfall Catwoman repainted in gray, and then a Jay Garrick similar to the CW version. Then they released a Platinum Chase variant of the Page Puncher Supergirl. Then a Platinum Chase variant of the DC Classics Riddler, Super Friends style. And then the McFarlane Collector's Edition figures. They all got Platinum Chase variants, and the second wave did too. Here are all of the McFarlane DC Multiverse Platinum Chase variants I have so far. I'm caught up until recently, and there are a ton that are coming out right now. Things I'm looking for: I still need another Riddler for my unopened collection. I need a Hawkman, a Sinestro, a Firestorm, 2 Gordons as Batman, a Brainiac, and then an Injustice Superman, if that's even a thing. In addition to that, I'm also looking for 2 Lord Deathmans from the 66 line, and 2 animated Scarecrows, and a Disruptor from the Spawn line. Ton of Platinums hitting right now. If anyone has a lead on any of those, please let me know. Here are all the different CW Arrowverse figures McFarlane has made. Either they're from the CW shows or influenced by them. And here she is, next to a couple of McFarlane Superboy figures. Then, next to several different McFarlane and Superman figures. Now stick around, next to some other recently released Target exclusive releases. Here she is, next to the Dark Knight Trilogy, Collective Build Bane, Jokerized Wave. And here she is, next to several more Target exclusive Jokerized releases. Then, next to the Target exclusive Superman vs. Doomsday 2-pack. And now, with even more Target exclusive figures, we have the Sinestro Corps Batman, Ted Corps Blue Beetle, then Impulse and Deadman. And finally, next to the Target exclusive Flashpoint Wave. Now check her out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here she is, next to the GameStop exclusive Batman and Batraptor 2-pack Batman. And here she is, next to some recent Walmart exclusive Gold Label figures. We have the Vampire Superman and Green Lantern, then Black Lightning and Captain Atom. Then, next to the McFarlane Collector's Edition Wave 2 figures, Firestorm, Sinestro, and Hawkman. And now, next to the Amazon exclusive Batman, Clayface, and Batwoman Rebirth 3-pack. Here's Supergirl, next to the Amazon Atomic Skull vs. Superman 2-pack. And here she is, next to the Ultimate Batman Movie 6-pack. Then, next to some more Amazon exclusive figures, these are the glow-in-the-dark versions. We have John Stewart Green Lantern, Swamp Thing, and the Infected Batman. And now, with some Entertainment Earth exclusive figures, we have the sketch version of the Rebirth Superman and the Batman Who Laughs, then the Blacklight, Infinite Infiltrator, Scarecrow, and Joker. Here's Supergirl, next to the 2 most recent McFarlane Mega figures, the Justice Buster and Anti-Monitor. And here she is, next to the Hush Superman, the Tim Drake Robin, and both versions of the DC Classics Riddler. And finally, next to the Blue Beetle movie wave, we have the regular Blue Beetle, Carapace, and Battle Mode Blue Beetle. Now let's check her out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how she fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you know which lines you can mix her with. Since she's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller. But first, let's check her out with some of her McFarlane Toys brothers and sisters. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, next to some Jack Specific and some DST or Diamond Select toys, here's Supergirl, next to a Golden Potato. Then, with some DC Direct and some NECA figures, here's Supergirl, next to some Mattel and some Jazzwares wrestling figures. And here she is, next to some Mezco and some Mattel DC figures. Then, with some Mafex and some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, next to some SH Figure Arts and some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, she is a pretty nice Supergirl figure. I think personally, I prefer the lighter blue traditional version, but it's really cool to have both options. Now, I did have a lot of complaints about Supergirl's legs in particular, but even with all those complaints, the figure still looks good. The hair looks good, the face looks good, the Superman logo looks good, the cape looks good. As a whole, I'm pleased, but it could be a lot better. The figure itself is good, but it's not great. If I were to rate this figure, probably going to give her a 7 out of 10. Maybe that's being a little bit generous, but I do really like the figure. I prefer the lighter blue version, but like I said, happy to have them both. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it in the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.